did a quilt using Paw Patrol fabric, which is this, but I have this much of it left. I'm thinking of a pillow, but it'd have to be like a pillow form versus a pillowcase, because there's enough of it to make it square. Yeah, it could be a big square pillow. Or I can, see, I have all these cutout pieces I didn't use. That would be cute to make a patchwork front of a square throw pillow. There we go. I have these fabrics. I don't have enough of this. Oh, maybe I do. You need 27 inches. Maybe I can make the pillow itself red and the band with that. That would actually be really cute. Let me see if it's long enough. If it is, I'm going to make it right now. I have exactly 27 inches. Okay, I'm happy. So the way I make a pillowcase, I'm going to do French seam. I do have videos on that, so I will try to link at the end of the video that video. However, in a nutshell, let me tell you what you need. You need 27 inches by width of fabric to make your pillowcase. And then it's going to get trimmed a little bit, but not much. So there's your pillow. And then you need 9 inches for your band, which I'm going to take from here. And the band is going to be folded over. And then you need an accent color. Well, I want an accent color because I like a little bit of a trim on there. And so I think I'm going to use this stripe, which is what I put on the binding, or will be putting on the binding of the quilt. So there's just a hint of this stripe peeking out underneath the band. Let me put it together and I'll show you what I mean. Ignore all my mess. I have a lot going on right now. And maybe I still will make him a throw pillow using these. I have some time to think about that. Okay, so let me turn my iron on. Like I said, this is 27 inches. So this is the body of my pillow. And this, I want 9 inches. So I'm gonna, going to use this, and it will be folded over, but I want it by width of fabric. So actually, I'm just gonna do this and go down 9 inches. Make sure I'm straight. Okay, so here's my 9 mark. I am flush and I am straight. 9. Not bad. I wonder if I could make him a pair. I have enough to do 2. Maybe a little bag. This little boy, I think he'll love whatever he gets. So I think a little bag might be in order. Okay, so here's my band. And then for my trim, anywhere between 2 and 3 inches. 2 is a little bit of a wider one. I think I'll just do a 3-inch. When you fold it in half, it makes it 1.5 inches. And then you have that 1/4 inch, or actually I like to do a 1/2 inch in my seam. So that makes it a 1 inch trim. And that 1 inch trim honestly is this wide. So it's pretty wide. If I do 2 inches, it will just barely hang out. However, it'll be more noticeable if I don't sew straight because it is so small. So I'm thinking, I don't know. Like I said, 3. Yeah, I'm gonna do 2. I'm not, yeah. I wasn't going smaller. I just think that would be tough to work with. Do whatever you want, and you don't even have to do this part. So open your fabric up. This will be the end where the band goes. Now this is directional, and I want it to face away from the cuff like this, so it'll be going that way. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. Then I have to think about how to do that. Let's see. Yes, I got it right. I've got this inside. Nope. All right. I do have that center crease. It doesn't have to be there, but I actually like it. Oh, this I do want to fold and press in half. It'll make life so much easier to have that folded right now. Okay, so I have to think, when this gets attached to the pillowcase, this, if the pillowcase is here, this is the band facing that way. I want to make sure that I start out with it open. I was just trying to get oriented. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and put its open end on the edge with this. So now that I have this, if you have a direction or a print on your fabric, I don't with this red. However, I do like having this crease on the outside, so I'm going to call this my finish side or my right side, and this will be the wrong side. So what I want to do is put my right side so that it comes out like this, and so you can tell because I've got the fold on both, which means pick it up and put them face to face. See, the fold is still there, and pin it in place. You don't have to stick with the fold. That's just, I like the fold, the crease that comes on the roll. And it's nice for the pillowcase. So anyway, now I'm clipping everything together. So I'm picking up the band, just one layer, and the 2 layers of the trim. And now I'm pinning the body in with that, keeping it all nice and flat. Now you take this, and this is called the Burrito, because we're going to roll it up, and it's going to be enclosed, encased, and then we'll pull it out, but it will have an invisible seam, and then we're going to do French seams on other things too. But we're going to roll this in. You want to keep some distance from this, but you do need to roll it small, because, or you can leave it, this is coming up now to it. And now you're going to clip all layers. So you've got the body of the pillowcase enclosed. If you have your, oh, this is not pinned. Sew in and go like 5/8 of an inch, or you know, your normal foot, not your walking foot. You want it to be a little deeper, and I'll explain that to you when I come back. Not super big, but a little more than your 1/4 inch for your quilting. I need to spend a little more time getting this flat. I'm at my machine and I need to change my thread out because I have black in it right now, and I could put white in. However, I'm going to be doing a top stitch, and I want to see if I want to use white on that. The top stitch will actually be going on this fabric, and I think white will work, or maybe like a cream color so it's not quite so in your face or noticeable. Red would work really nice right now. Let's just see what my options are. Here's a red. Now red would be cute. Okay, let me see if I have a bobbin that's wound in red, because that would make it faster. The bobbin does not have to match exact, because you're not going to really see it. You just want to make sure that if the thread gets pulled up through it, it is not stark white or some very off color. And I have a bunch of bobbins that are wound, and that's a little bit orange compared to this, but you're not going to notice it at all. So I'm going to use it. I do want to change my foot out to be my normal foot. So I like to go in a little bit. So I think my regular foot will be fine. Nail down. We have done it. We have made our burrito. Now it's time to pull all of this out. So here's my pillowcase, the band, and the trim. And now we're going to do a French seam to close up the side. Before I do that, I am going to give this a little press up here. And we're going to do a top stitch. I got ahead of myself. Top stitch right here, which is what I was showing you why the thread matters. You don't have to top stitch it. I like it because it helps this to lay flat. And that's another reason why I wanted this to go more than 1/4 inch up. I want to make sure that we can catch it. And if you choose to do 1/4 inch seam, you're going to miss it. You can do it closer, but I personally like to have a little extra in there because this is what holds your pillowcase together. That seam. Look how cute that is. Can't stand it. It's so cute. Okay, now I need to decide how wide I want it to be. And this is a pillowcase I made last July. And see how you can just do so many different things. I'm going to make it the same width as this. Where's my tape measure? There it is. So closed up. Oh, by the way, here's the French seam. This is what we're going to do. We're going to completely enclose it so you don't have a raw edge. If you have a serger, you don't really need to worry about that. But this is nice if you don't. Okay, this is 20.5. Then you have the seam allowance. Let's see. Okay. Let me see here. Now, believe it or not, when you start out with this, with the French seam, you put it right sides together. Trust me. Now, I have this selvage edge going on right here, so it's possible that this crease from the manufacturer with the fabric might not end up being right on the corner because of where this laid out. And nope, the selvage is also coming over. You can see the little dots from the machine, so I really do want to cut it there. Let's see how white this is. I'm wondering if yeah, we can do it. Okay, so I'm going to cut it right here where the selvage is, right at the edge, and that is coming up at 21.5, and we want it to be 20, so that's going to give us enough space to do the French seam. So really all we're doing is getting rid of that. Now I do have a bigger surface, I'm just choosing not to use it because the filming is here, right here. So I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to show you what you can do too if you have a small space. Just fold it up, make sure it's nice and straight, making sure over here your ends are lining up, and then cut through all the layers, which is going to be pretty thick right here. So this may or may not be, but this is going to be inside. So, and my white is over here, but I can still see where the selvage ends. Now, so selvage is where that goes on the machine, and you can maybe see the little dots that are right there, and that this is a little thicker right here. You don't want any of that in your project unless for some reason you are running short on fabric and it's all you can do to finish the project, and then you can maybe get away with it. But the reason you don't want to use it is it shrinks at a different rate than the rest of the cotton fabric, and you don't want that. All right, so this, I have a blade that's driving me crazy. All right, now this also is a selvage, and when you cut the selvage off, what's left is less than an inch. I actually would keep this if it was at least an inch, but this is still good to use to wrap around as a ribbon or a bow. So maybe I will keep that, and when I give this to this little guy, use that there. Anyway, this is our scrap. Just a tiny bit of that, which I do want to cut again. I'm kind of funny that way. Okay. Now, take this to the machine, and we're going to sew from here all the way down the open side all the way over to here, and then we're going to come back with a zigzag stitch going around the edges to keep the fraying in check. Okay, and I'll show you in the other view, but you don't want to start or stop right at the end because this is going to be exposed. It's what you're going to see, and then we're going to turn it the other way around and this will disappear. So don't worry that this is the right side. Anyway, come in, I'm going to use my standard foot again for this, but I'm going to actually start somewhere down here, anywhere. Start here, back up, and then come down. That way my start and stop is actually in the middle of the line versus up here at the very end where you can see the knots. I also like to go up to the top and like do one stitch over the edge and then come back, and that gives it kind of a little locking thing. Same thing with the zigzag. When you come back with your zigzag, just back it down a little bit and you'll find it's not a lot cleaner that way. I'll keep getting ahead of myself. I'm so excited to zip this up. First, I'm going to go do a top stitch on this, and then we're going to come back to this part. You could do decorative, you can do straight. I'm going to do straight stitch, and I'm going to do it just inside on the blue. You want to make sure it's really straight because this is a colored thread. Even if it's white on white, it's still a stitch where you will see it. So I'm going to show you that. This would be a good place to do a decorative stitch. That would actually be really cute along here. I just want to do a straight stitch. So I'm going to use the little guides on my foot to make sure that I am staying even. I don't want to go the width of the foot, and obviously I'm going on the left side right now, otherwise I'd be bunched up over here, and it doesn't matter. This actually will work fine. But I just want to go one one marking over. So that's just me. Now right here, it doesn't matter where you start as long as you can start. And if I put that down, you can hopefully see that I'm not going in very far. And I don't want to. Although, actually I want to go in more than that. There. I like that. So you could feel right here is where the bulk of all that, the raw edges are on the inside. By coming up a little bit, you're going to make sure you catch it and keep it flat. And so that's why I've put my needle where I did. Make sure I catch it. Okay, so there's my top stitch. Look how cute that is. So now we're going to take our wrong sides together. So here's our top. And this is where we're going to do like that half, the foot width coming down here, and we're going to start down a little low. Now you want to do your best to get these to line up, because when you come up on the seam on the finished project, it's kind of noticeable when it doesn't match up. So this is where I'm going to start low, but put my machine into reverse, come up here, back. See, now I'm off the fabric. Okay, change my direction and now go forward, and that gives it a nice clean stitch up at the top where everybody sees things. I'll show you when we I'll show you later. Sorry, we're not finishing this off. You do not have to do zigzag when you go back. I like it because even though it's going to be enclosed, you can still get frayed edges and feel the threads in the pillowcase. So personally for me, I want to do the zigzag. I'm going to put on a wide zigzag. It does not need to be tight, it just needs to do a zigzag. I'm going to make it so it's tall and wide. Turn it around. So it just kind of finishes it off a little bit. If you go too tight, it could make it really thick or bumpy, and you don't want that. And when you stop, try to stop on the inside so you don't have what I just did. Okay, now you do want to cut the corner off. I should have done it before I got to this point. Let's see. You don't want to go up to the point, because you need to make sure you don't cut through it. I would do it long before you got to this point, but you'll find it's better. There we go. This is where I'm going to come up and back a little bit, so I don't have that final finishing stitch right up at the top. And I don't like something that just happened, so I'm actually going to go forward and go all the way down. Whoops. Again, just make sure I'm not gonna. There we go. All right. Okay, so now we are going to turn it inside out. because right now it's right side out, and it does seem weird for what we just did. But inside out, I'm going to use my iron. I find it a little easier. What we're going to do is, now that we've turned it so that the fabric or the stitching's on the inside, we're going to come over here and stitch down this side, but we're going to come in enough that it covers that stitching area, which stops right here. So you want to come in maybe to here. You want to make sure it's in far enough, because otherwise it will peek through your seam. So this is why I'm actually over here at the iron and I'm going to press it. Is I want this to be as flat as I can, and it's kind of rolls a little bit sometimes, so I'm choosing to press it. My iron is heating up right now, so I'll take a minute. Don't worry about this, honestly, because we're going to stitch right here to here and then turn it back around, and you're not going to see this if it's pointed or not. We're going to have another point right here that will matter, so it's there. Okay. You don't have to do this step. I want it to be as nice as I can get it, and this helps me. All right, back to the machine. This time we're going to come in about a half of an inch, maybe a little more, but we're going to be consistent. Okay, so all that's left is to trim these little threads, which are in the middle, not the end, in the middle, and then give it another press with the right side out. And then you don't have any threads, you don't have any fraying exposed. Now you do want to poke the corners out. And unfortunately this is a little thicker down here. Just do the best you can, it's just the way it is. We minimized what bulk we could, but you still have, you got a lot going on right there. So I got a point, but you can still feel the bulk. Again, it's just the way it is. Okay. Just out of curiosity, I want to see how big this ended up. 20. That works. It's a little snug, but you can choose to make your margins over here a little smaller, or to not do that fold, or measure your pillow yourself and just make it the size you want. That's what I wanted to avoid. It doesn't hurt it, it's just not what I wanted to see. Let's point went away, didn't it? Or did I never have it? I might not have ever had it. Let's see. I want to make sure I don't poke through the fabric or the seams. Yeah, I'm not getting a good point, am I? You know, when it gets washed, it's gonna all change anyway. Oh. All right, so I don't know if you can see this. I've got some red threads hanging out here. This is the frayed edges from the inner seam. So I obviously had some threads. It's good to double check on those, see if you did get some that stuck out. That's kind of funny. And look how nice my edges lined up. Oh, and there's another thread. But at least I don't have fabric poking through, just like a thread here and there. Anyway, this is, for me, a bit of a challenge to line these up. I'm not always lined up. Let's see what I did on this one. Yeah, it's lined up too. But you can see how it can shift, and that's not exactly perfect. Honestly, it is close and should be good. Here's a Christmas pillowcase. This one I did what did I use? 4-inch band or something? I did a very big one. And here's where my edges came together. And you can see right here, this lines up, but my top stitch doesn't. Anyway. But again, we have the French seam where it's completely enclosed. I just think they look clean, and if you have a serger, you don't need to go through this step because you're finishing it off, although you still could. But this is what anybody with your machine can do to make a nice pillowcase. And it's called a French seam burrito style pillowcase. You have no exposed seams anywhere, none. And then we started down here, so you don't even have things going on up here at the top other than I see a loose thread of fabric. So nice and clean, everything's inside, nothing to unravel. The fabric that's in here, if it does fray, you've done that zigzag stitch, so you shouldn't feel strings and stuff in there. But that is that. So now what I'm going to do is take these other pieces of fabric here that I've left over and make a little throw pillow or a little bag. So let me see, maybe a little bag would make sense because little boy doesn't care about throw pillow, right? He doesn't need it. But this is cute. Little drawstring bag, and this used like half of this. That means I still haven't used these. Maybe I'll end up with another quilt. And I still have this, which could be used on the back of a pillow. I'm still thinking throw pillow. I don't know why. Do I have enough of this to make another pillowcase? Because that would be cute too. Make a reverse of the one we just made with the same cuff. Oh, I have enough. Well, that's crazy. I only need the 27. So I can make this into another pillowcase. It's a bit busy, but it'll still be cute. I have enough of this. In fact, I just need to cut a little bit off to make a band. And then I would use red for my trim right here. And then he'd have 2 pillowcases. This is what I like to do when I have leftover fabric from a project. I like to keep using it towards things that can be used with that project if it's possible. So I've got some good pieces of fabric here to work with. So there we go. But pillowcase is done, and see how I've got it with the band facing out. That is exactly what I wanted. Note, some people like to take this and flip it up and stitch on top of it that way. I say do whatever you want. When you do your top stitching, you can flip it up. I like it down. It's yours. Do what you want with it. See, this would be cute for family reunion, sleepovers, birthday gifts, Christmas. So you can see all the different ways and things I've done with them. They're not your everyday pillowcase. They're specific for something. So you can do whatever you want with them. One thing I would like to suggest, this is quilting cotton, which is nice and soft. However, it is not soft like sheets soft, meaning as women, we need to take care of our hair when we're sleeping. And honestly, this is coarse enough, it might pull hair out. So you really want more like a satin pillowcase, or there's a cotton fabric called sateen that is pillowcase perfect. And I'll show you what that looks like. I wish you could feel this, but this is sateen. It is really, really soft. And it just has this flowiness about it. Nothing is stiff and starchy. This is regular cotton, quilter's cotton, which is still nice, but between the two, if I could choose, I would pick this. Although this is still really nice. This fabric right here is a little stiffer. It could just be the manufacturer, but this is so good. I call it butter. Look, I've used it. This is all that I have left. It is just so soft. So maybe for a wedding gift or an adult, you can still make novelty pillowcases, but these sateen is a cotton blend satin feeling fabric that's perfect for pillowcases, and it comes in a lot of solid colors. I don't know that you'll find it in prints, but I haven't looked for it in a while, but I know it does have a lot of solid colors. So there you go. Yeah, so you can tell this is stiff because it's it's grabbing itself. Stop. This also creases more than this one. Oh, I don't know if you can see this. It has a crease in it, but it's softer. Anyway, sateen. Your quilt store, fabric store will know what you're talking about if you ask for it. Let me know what you think about this. Have a great day.